Good morning and welcome to Barefoot English. Hello to all of my students all over the world. I do want to remind you that you can turn on closed captions on my videos and set automated languages that will translate the English to whatever language you may need to follow along, and then listen again without the closed captions. Just a quick reminder about that. Today's IELTS idiom of the day is back in the saddle or get back in the saddle again. The origin of the idiom is from the 1800s, in the age of horses, when pretty much that was the major means of transportation. The use came from jockeys and rodeo stars who, after being injured when falling off of a horse, would recover from their injuries and get back in the saddle of that horse. And for any of you that have ever ridden a horse, falling off of a horse is incredibly painful. They're tall creatures. Getting thrown from a horse is even more painful and quite dangerous. But when it does happen, you really do have to get back in the saddle again, even if you've lost your confidence. It's used today for two different ways. One would be describing when somebody has lost their confidence doing something and that they just need to get back into it. Something happened and they don't feel their best at doing what they're doing, so they need to go back into it. The other way is when somebody has gone back to doing something that they haven't done for a long time. And an example of that might be riding a bicycle. A lot of people ride bicycles when they're young, and then they don't ride a bicycle again until they're an adult. And when they first do, they're ill at ease, they're uncomfortable, they're not necessarily a confident rider, although they gain their confidence back relatively quickly. There's another expression, idiom. It's like riding a bike, learning to ride a bike, meaning learning to ride a bike is one of those things that you actually sort of never forget in your life. Once you learned, even late in life, you can get back on a bicycle. Now, in my own life, I faced this exact challenge. On Thursday morning, I was in a motorbike accident on the way to work, and luckily, there are no broken bones, just a bunch of scrapes and bruises. I went to school, the nurse cleaned me up. I spent the day limping around and made it to all of my classes. However, on Friday, my entire body was so sore, and really by Thursday night it was. And I didn't sleep well on Thursday because of it. No matter what position I laid in, my body hurt. And on Friday, I took the day off and rested, took quite a bit of medication to help kind of override some of the pain and that I was feeling. But the most important thing that I did was that I got back on my motorbike. On Thursday evening when I left school, I was terrified to get on my motorbike and ride home. And I drove like the slowest old man you can imagine, which is actually not a very safe way to drive here. But I was scared. I was scared of falling down again. I was scared of having somebody ride in front of me, which is basically what happened, that caused the accident. And so Thursday night, I had to drive and get my bike fixed. Once it was fixed, I made myself ride around for a little while before I went home, just to get sort of comfortable again being on it. But that anxiety had not left. And in the morning when I woke up, I had really considered just walking to get coffee and walking to get breakfast. I was terrified of getting back on my motorbike. And so instead of giving into that feeling, which would have led to only more or greater loss of confidence over time, I made myself get on my motorbike and I drove all over town. I did it intentionally. I rode for many kilometers until I had gotten uh, more comfortable and could find myself going at a fairly normal speed again. That's getting back in the saddle. I had to make myself do it. I had to regain my confidence because it is my means of transportation here. It's a primary means of transportation for most people, and I need it to get back and forth to work, to for my daily life in general. So I got back in the saddle. I overcame the fears and anxiety that I was having about it. And by the end of the day, I was riding my motorbike much better than the night before. um, the soreness didn't help, but I literally just had to do it. This morning when I got up, I wasn't scared to get on my motorbike again, and it means that I getting back in the saddle really did work for me. Now, I'd like to show you just real quickly the origin of this uh, phrase. It was used for jockeys and cowboys who had been hurt while riding a horse and returned to ride horses once again once they were fully recovered. They were said to be back in the saddle because a saddle is what they use to sit upon the horse's back and ride comfortably. And we can see in this little picture a horse with a saddle on it. And it also gives us the other definition that's used. Someone has finally started to do an activity again that they once did in the past, but stopped doing for some time. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I'm feeling a lot better today. I'm not as sore as yesterday, although I must admit I'm still pretty sore. And I am back in the saddle. So much love. Peace from Vietnam. Like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you soon. Peace.